instead of Wednesday or Sunday, go to Deuteronomy 18. Verse 15. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet. You should begin now to appreciate why it's a capital B. A very special prophet. Unlike any other that came before him, and there's been no one like him since then. Raised up by God from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him you shall hearken, according to all that thou desirest of the Lord thy God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. And the Lord said unto me, they have well spoken, that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee. I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass, to whosoever will not hearken to my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. I'll get one more later. Very serious problem. To be taken seriously. Now let's go back to where we left off last time on this prophet in the Gospel of John. Chapter 7. We left off in chapter 6, where it says in verse 63, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. Something the law didn't have. The law had no life. The law had no spirit. But there are some of you that believe not. For Jesus knew from the beginning who they were that believed not, which should betray him. Now chapter 7. After these things, Jesus walked in Galilee. For he did not walk in Jewry, because the Jews sought to kill him. Why didn't he go to Jewry and just say God's going to take care of him? Don't be foolish, walk with God. Okay? If there's a situation where there's an imminent danger, stay out of it. As it comes to these last days, you got a stronghold of them. Avoid it as long as you can until God puts you into it. That's what Jesus did. Now the Jews' Feast of Tabernacles was at hand. His brethren therefore said unto him, depart hence, and go into Judea, that thy disciples also may see the works that thou doest. For there is no man that doeth anything in secret, and he himself seeketh not to be known openly. If thou do these things, show thyself to the world. Now, these were his natural brothers, okay? Jude, James, what have you. They're going to tell Jesus what to do. Get some exposure. Now look at his answer. Look at look at the last verse there, verse 5. For neither did his brethren believe in him. Why are you going to promote somebody you don't believe in? Then Jesus said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is already ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hated because I testified of it, that the works thereof are evil. Go ye up to the feast. I go not up yet unto this feast, for my time is not yet full come. They'll tell him to go to church. He said, you go to church. You have nothing to lose. They can't hate you. You're not testifying of them. I am. When he had said these words unto them, he abode still in Galilee. But when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up to the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. Then the Jews sought him at the feast and said, where is he? Looking for Jesus. He made a splash and every place he went. He made a splash and he wasn't there. Folks looking for him. And there was much murmuring among the people concerning him. For some said, he's a good man. Others said, nay, but he deceived the people. It's interesting, those who call him a deceiver did not point out one example of his deception. Sometimes things get out there. Him being a deceiver, Satan just threw that out there as a decoy, and some bought it, but they couldn't support it. Howbeit no man spake openly of him for fear of the Jews. Now about the midst of the feast, Jesus went up into the temple and taught. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned? The letters they speak of the law of Moses, the writing in the Psalms, and the writings of the prophets. The Feast of Tabernacles was the last feast in the fall. It's a 7-day feast. So about 3.5 days after being there, he went into the temple and taught. Never fails. Nobody heard Jesus teach and walked away neutral. Couldn't do it. In this case, what they do? Marvel. Marveled. Saying, they knew Jesus did not have a formal education. They knew that. From the scriptures, the best you can surmise, the last time you read Jesus before he went public, he was 12 years old. Can somebody find that for me real fast? I'd like to just take a look at that. It's going to be early. One of your Gospels. I'm thinking Matthew. I don't know. Doesn't appear to be Matthew. I'll put it Mark. I'll check it. Nope, not Mark. That is Luke and John. Luke, chapter 2. This one, Jesus got lost. They were coming back in the feast of the Passover, verse 42. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. Now they fulfilled the days as they returned. The child Jesus tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. They're going back. He's in Jerusalem. This is the beginning of him doing the will of his Father. Okay? But they, supposing him to have been at the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance. But they found him not. They turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. A parent's worst nightmare: lose your child. It's been a whole day. And it came to pass that after 3 days, got back to Jerusalem and made a 3-day search in Jerusalem. So looking at now 4 days. They found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors. These doctors are not medical doctors. They're PhDs in the law of Moses, the Psalms, and the prophets. Highly educated in the scriptures. Sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. 12. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. It was the word that got their attention with Jesus. Before they ever fell in love with him, they fell in love with his doctrine, his teachings. And when they saw him, his parents, they were amazed. I'm sure they stood back for a while and watched their 12-year-old son dazzling these old men in the Word with questions and answers. I wish that part had been recorded. What he asked and what he answered. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Why have you done this to us? Parents are take it personal. Why is that? We're letting kids do something to them. You know? We don't think kids just do things because they're kids. But it's always a vendetta. You know? Why did you do this to us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that you sought me? Here's a grown-up answer. Why did you look for me? Or better, where did you look for me? And why did you look for me where you looked for me? Figures now? He's come down from heaven to do his father's business. So most folks did their father's business in their father's shop. Right? This is dad's shop. The house of God. Wish ye not? That must be about my father's business? Nice way of saying that Joseph was not my father. It's my stepfather. These people that teach about Jesus being a carpenter all these years are just wrong. You don't find any place in the scriptures where he ever drove one nail. Right? Then you get a gap between that. You don't read about him anymore. So the third 18-year gap. But you have all these stories from around the world of countries that said that Jesus visited them. He told his apostles when he sent them out, he says, don't go to any of the Gentiles, but go where? To the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They get first dibs on salvation. They're his people, right? And when Jesus disappeared at that time, legend history has it he was with Uncle Joe. That is Uncle Joseph, of Arimathea. He was in the shipping business. He was shipped around the world. That's why there's a couple of stories out of India, Britain, different areas, Egypt, that said Jesus visited them in his youth and taught them the Word of God. Makes sense. If he had began his public ministry at the age of 30, he got baptized in Galilee, they'd have ate him up. When he came to Israel and began preaching publicly in Israel, he had 18 years on his belt already. And when they came with their questions and their skepticism and unbelief, he could handle them. He never said, well, you know, and nothing like that. He had the direct answer every time. But he had 18 years experience that they didn't know about, okay? And they understood not the same as he spake unto them. And he said about his father's business. But he made them understand that, evidently, because history says he did. Now go back to John. I can cite some other scriptures, but that's enough. But his doctrine mesmerized people. His teaching, that's why it says in Revelation, that church in Ephesus, it says, you left your first love. And God revealed that to us. You hear all kind of teaching on that. Go on to commentaries on the internet and see what they say about first love. They all have it as being Jesus. And that's not it. Because they love Jesus first. His word. So they left the first love in the church in Ephesus, in Revelation, they left his word. Because read the whole letter to Ephesus, to the Ephesians, it talks about how they love Jesus and continue to labor for his name and everything. You can love Jesus and not love his word, you don't love Jesus. Feel me? A lot of folks love Jesus, they don't love his word. I can't understand how they can do it very long. But anyhow, back to this great story. Much murmuring among the people, verse 12, concerning him. For some said he's a good man, others said, nay, but he deceiveth the people. Howbeit, no man spake openly of him. That means no man spake positively of him for fear of the Jews. Okay? Now about the midst of the feast, Jesus went up to the temple and taught. And the Jews marveled, saying, how knoweth this man letters, having never learned? Jesus answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine. Well, first of all, they had no idea that they were hearing. The Word. In the beginning was the Word. And they're mesmerized by his doctrine and marvel and everything. How does he know all these things? They understand that he's the Word. He knew the whole Bible. He knew what it meant. The things that are revealed, the hidden things, the dark things, he knew it all. What would it been like to hear him teach? To have all the word of his command. He said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself. I spent a lot of time in my early years here, addressing those who were wondering if it was me talking or God. This was answered. Anybody here doing the will of God will know the doctrine, will know who the speaker is. Automatically. It won't take long. I say about 3 times at most, you should know who's talking. Whether it's my message or God's message. That's what Jesus says. He that speaketh of himself seeketh his own glory. But he that seeketh his glory that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him. Now I'm going to take God's word for them, okay? Y'all catch that? You ready to hear? I read that one.